Right. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me. I am Klava Mahler, expert in Chinese medicine and traditional Chinese astrology. And with me are my siblings, some of them, Simcha and Eliyahu. And we are here to talk to you about the emotional needs of children and people in general, but right now we're focusing on children because right now, at least in the area where we live, children are all being kept home under somewhat stressful circumstances. So a friend of mine asked me to do this video, and I thought as long as I was doing it, I would share it with anyone who might find it helpful. So in Chinese medicine, when we look at people's personalities and what their emotional needs are, one of the rules of thumb is that, well, obviously every human being has lots of different emotional needs. Each person is going to have one, which is essential. It's like the key or the base of the pyramid. It's something that if they don't get, then they're not able to open themselves up to take comfort and support and everything else that they need, because they're so they just can't open up if they don't have whatever their essential need is. And it's different for different people, which is so much fun. And sometimes when people have very different personalities in families or any other groups of humans who have to get along, it can be very hard for people who really want to support and help each other, but don't actually know what the other person really needs, or they don't know what the other person needs to get so that they can also accept everything else that they need. And especially within families, if you have a kid and a parent who have very different personality types, or if you have a bunch of kids that are very similar and then one that's different, when you're trying to help a bunch of different children feel better, sometimes you can end up with a situation where a bunch of the kids are doing fine. They've got, you've calmed them down, you've given them a snack, you've given them some nice music, you've sung the Everyone's Safe Now song, and then you have one kid who hasn't been able to relax because their specific need hasn't been met. Okay, so I'm going to run through the different personality types and what their essential emotional need is, what they need to get so that they can relax and be open to accepting help. And then at the end, I will talk about how you can identify what your kid is if it doesn't jump out at you. Okay, so there are in various ways of breaking up the personality and various ways of describing different emotional needs, obviously, but for this specific situation, I find that the descriptions of the animals and the energies are the most helpful. So we're going to be talking about kids and people in general having personalities like a dog or like a rabbit or like a tiger, and then what each personality type's need is. And when I get to the ones that are relevant, my helpers here, then they're going to join in. Sorry for making you sit through the boring introduction. And right, and then obviously, if you have any questions about what your kid is, how to help them, feel free to reach out to me. I've lived through this before. I know how stressful this is, and it really helps me to be able to help other people when going through stressful situations. So, okay, so starting from the top, the first two personality types we're going to talk about are the personality of the rat and of the horse. I actually have a horse brother. He's not here, but both of these personality types, their essential need, their base need, their principal need, however you want to describe it, is what's called in the traditional literature the need for fire. Okay, so they need warmth, they need human contact, they need to be able to communicate with people, they need, you need to talk to them, you need to tell them jokes, make them laugh, you need to connect them with something that's human, that's warm, and that involves connection and communication. Let's just exploit our knowledge of Zeki for the moment. Does anyone have any other suggestions for how to calm a horse down?
Word games.
Oh, word games are brilliant. Yes. Okay, so communication is connected to fire. Anything that involves playfulness is also, that's a fire aspect. So yes, that's a great way that you can help. Just bring a little bit of that fire energy into your interaction with someone. Word games, cute memes, funny animal photos, anything like that Yes, absolutely. If
try and-
obviously, if you can, if
Don't
it's safe.
try and-
If it's safe, but
Stay
yeah,
still.
if they're bouncing around, if they're jiggling in their seat, if they're tapping their hands or their feet or whatever, that's great. Let them do it. Okay, next up we have the ox and the goat kids. Okay, so ox and goat, both those personality types, their essential emotional need, their basic emotional need is what's called earth. So earth describes the home, the family, and everything to do with food. Okay, these are kids who really need to know that food's going to come on a schedule, and if it's not, then there are snacks in the safe room. They're probably going to be more, not necessarily, but possibly they might be more touchy and liking hugs. And they want to know where their family is. They want to know that people are safe. Obviously, again, we all do during these times, but it's especially important for these ox and goat kids. And they want to be able to help other people. They really want to help. They want to take care of other people more. Want to, not in general to help donate to some charity. They want to right now make sure that everyone's got a glass of water, everyone's got a snack. That's going to help them calm down. We don't actually have any goats or oxen in the immediate family.
No,
But we've got.
today,
Mhm.
I was at the break room at work today and had the news on.
God forbid we get a break from it.
Exactly. So spokesperson for Home Front Command was going through the list of things you can do with your children to help keep them calm and less stressed during the situation. And it was literally listing things like that. Ask them what games they'd like to have in the safe room. Ask them to call grandma and grandpa and make sure that they're okay. Ask them to be in charge of making sure that their favorite snack is available. Just like engaged, but mostly give them a responsibility that allows them to have control of this. That was really
Absolutely.
goes
And
along
that,
with what
and
you're
I think
saying.
that responsibility is essential for everyone, adults, children, really every human being. This is stepping away from Chinese medicine for a second and into modern research being done. Giving everyone a task, a job, something to accomplish is going to give them the feeling of control. And that is going to be very helpful in terms of emotional stability in the immediate event and also during the recovery period afterwards. Okay, so the next two personality types are the tiger kid and the monkey kid. And what tigers and monkeys need is to feel that they are helping or connected to something bigger, to something transcendent. Okay, the energy that they need is heavenly energy as opposed to the earthly. So they also want to help, and it's not like they want specific people to go hungry or not have water, but they're going to be more interested in contributing to some larger cause than to like taking care of tiny little details in the here and now. So anything that they can do to help towards some sort of overall, some sort of bigger project. There's something they can do. If it's posting on Facebook, raising money, talking, they're usually very verbal and communicative. There's programs for making videos to show what life is like in the bomb shelters, or interviewing people about their experiences, something that they might be good at. Getting them to tell stories to entertain younger children, giving them a project and a goal that they can work towards. Like, for example, making videos about how to help people in bomb shelters. That's going to help those tiger and those monkey kids. The next pair is we have the rabbit and we have the rooster. Okay, and what the rabbit and the rooster want is they want what's called metal energy. They want clarity. They want boundaries. They want clear decisions and exact details, and they want everything to be fair.
Where I come in?
Yep.
Okay, at the very basic level, what they want is stability.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't mean unchanging. This means that there needs to be a base, something that they can rely on. That there is something that is stable and consistent. This can be schedule or routine or anything really. It just needs, they need to have something they can rely on. No matter what else is changing, they have something that they can go, okay, this is safe. This is their safe space, basically. It can be physical also. It could be that if they go into their room, they know that they are safe. Nothing will come in, nothing will bother them, that they're nice, quiet.
Absolutely. And so it's a little harder sometimes to supply this during periods of uncertainty. And so it can be helpful to have things like a routine for after the siren goes off, when you're in the bomb shelter, what you do, or what you do after you come out, or having some sort of program throughout the day where you know where everyone is and everyone's supposed to be, so you don't have to be worrying about confusion there. And
Or
maybe,
having, or having a specific plan for what happens when the siren goes off, so that they know, all right, so an example, where we are right now, we don't have a safe room, we need to run down the stairs. And so if you have, for example, a plan in place for them, so they are able to run down like a checklist or something going, okay, run down the stairs, go in the safe room, then next step is check that everyone's in the safe room, make sure the door is closed properly, things like that. So they have something that is, like I said before, stability, something, a stabilizing agent.
absolutely. Thank you very much. And as you see, this is why I wanted my siblings to be here, because I am the overarching idea person. Gone. Okay, we should break this down into that level. I can say we need details, we need them to be specific, but I cannot think about that level of detail. So yes, absolutely. You can have a checklist. Hear a siren, go to door, go down the stairs, go to the safe room, make sure everyone's in the safe room, close the door of the safe room. Another thing that might be helpful would be to have some sort of physical object that represents safety in the safe room.
Yeah,
So you can go there.
like for me specifically, it would be very helpful to have, for example, store of food or that'll last for a long time, and water bottles, and maybe pillows and blankets. You got something comfortable sit on, and
things that represent physical security, which is also very important to the rabbit.
Literally just bought and
like literally, like just now. Okay, well, we can consider where to store that. Moving on, the next pair of personality types is the dragon and the dog. With the dragon and dog's basic emotional need is what's called the water energy, water, where water represents acceptance. It represents giving people a chance to connect to their emotions and work through them, which means listening to them, because people generally don't know how they feel until they've processed. So dragons and dogs both need people who are just able to be there with them, to listen to them when they talk and when they work through things, who give them the sense that they're accepted as they are. And
I was going to say, it hadn't occurred to me, but my easiest times in bomb shelters have always been when someone needed. That makes me calmer. It helps me have more control over my emotions, and also more awareness of what I'm going through, because I can see it in other people. Oh, he's having a panic. Let me sit down next to her and hold her there, talk her through it. And at the same time, it's like self-soothing. It's outwardly expressing self-soothing for someone else. You also get that connection. I think for me, it's a lot more of a human connection and conversation. And maybe receiving it would be just helpful, but
no, you need to share. Exactly. You need to be listened to.
At least giving it is just as helpful. And so there was a time 3 or 4 years ago now, during another of these situations, where I was literally in a taxi. I was in a taxi. There was nowhere to go. No bombs. We were in the middle of the city, and the taxi driver got out, went to the side of the road. This young girl, freaking out, sobbing, crying, scared, crying. And I was suddenly fine, because here was someone who needed me to be there and strong, and it's okay. I'm here with you. We've got this. It's gonna be okay. Look, you can see it's on the other side of the city. We're okay. We're safe. You have your phone. Have you called your mom? Like that kind of literally talking about the situation and bringing it into the light, and not having it be like literally talking about it.
Yeah. So again,
like just cuddling up in a blanket wouldn't do it for me.
Yeah. So again, all of us need a feeling of control, and being able to take care of someone or something else is going give us that. But specifically for the dragons and the dogs, having a chance to work through their emotions out loud is really essential because, yeah.
Okay, so going back a bit to listening,
Mhm.
common pitfall that people fall into when they have someone they need to talk about an issue is they'll try and offer solutions while the person is working doing. Now, solutions, it depends on the person, but offering solutions can be very helpful, but it's best to do it once they've finished working through it, because when they're working out loud, when they're talking to you about what their problems, the solutions are very helpful, but immediately, in the moment, what they're doing is they're working through their own emotions, and for that, they need not.
You do not cut them off.
Yeah.
You have to let them. I once heard, it was a brilliant thing. Someone said that one of those, when you have that stereotypical, like a woman's talking about her feelings and the man's trying to offer solutions, said what you have to understand, you're the guy in this scenario, whether you're an actual man or woman or whatever you may be. But like what you have to understand is that the talking about the problem isn't to solve the problem. Talking about the problem is to understand what the actual problem is. It's not, here's a problem that needs a solution. It's, here's a mystery and we need to solve it. So yeah, that's really good. Thank you. All right. And then, so I think this has already gone on long enough. The last pair of kids, personality types are the snake and the pig, which are both incredibly well respected in Chinese culture. I know it doesn't necessarily sound good to Western ears. And what the snake and the pig need is they need what's called the wood energy. All right, they need to be helped to deal with changes. Wood, it's not like dead wood, it's like a growing, like a tree, like a plant that's growing. They need to be helped to be flexible and to see the positive sides of things and to cope with leaving their comfort zone. If you can get them to do something creative, that's probably going to be the most helpful, something artistic, something, have arts and crafts supplies, give them something to decorate. And then the other thing is physical activity. Again, in the confines of what's possible. But if you can get them doing like kiddie yoga or even better, some kind of dance or martial art, anything that gives them the chance to really move their bodies and keep some sort of flow of motion moving so they don't get stuck in the fear is going to be helpful. Anyone know any snakes or?
I don't know pigs at the right age. I know a snake.
Mhm.
What he does is really interesting. What he does is he let's fidget toys,
Mhm.
and then he like builds things out into like
Cool.
very specific and very niche. It's probably not something.
But
work
no,
for
but
all
it's got the
but
motion
it's
and it's got the creative.
Takes the different fidget toys and he interconnects them and builds these artistic
Very cool.
sculptures.
All right, yeah, okay, so motion, creativity, there you go. All right, so those are the things that those kids need. All right, and then in terms of, that's very helpful. How do you know what your kid is? So maybe you identified them as we were talking. If not, there's theoretically two ways to do this. One way is to do this whole involved, intense questionnaire and then weigh up all of their different personality aspects and theoretically get an answer. The other way is by the date of birth. A lot of people don't like using because it sounds like crazy astrology stuff. I've worked with a lot of people over the past over 10 years now. I was gonna say 10 years, but it's more than that. And I found that the date of birth is more helpful than the questionnaire usually because people don't usually know how to answer accurate questions about their personality. So what I'm going to do is in the notes below this video, I'm going to give you the dates for the dates of birth that will give you like the different personality types theoretically. Feel free to ignore it. Feel free to use that. And if you don't want to use the dates of birth, then, just listen to what your kids seem to need. See which kids aren't getting what they need and what we've talked about could be helpful.
Also, it's important because there are lots of children who, depending on their personality, find it difficult to. This was when I had a child. It was very difficult for me to impose on others my needs, and so it could be very important to create a space or a time that is specifically for them to express what their needs are, so that they feel free to do so.
Mhm. Absolutely. I think it's usually a human thing that it's very hard for us to ask for what we need. Certainly for a lot of us. So anything else you want to add before we close this up?
Safe, stay calm, eat the cookies.
You know,
All right. Take care of yourselves. May this pass quickly. And again, if you have any questions you want to ask about your kids, go deeper into any of this, then I'm here. You can WhatsApp, call, Facebook, Instagram. I don't know how you're going to see this video. So usually these things get shared a bit, but you know, you can reach out, you can contact me. Advice I have for what it's worth. Stay safe, take care,
Eat the
and
cookies.
Eat the cookies.